Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome, friends, to episode number 66 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. So do you often find yourself using things outside of yourself to escape? So if you take a look at what you are currently desiring, it's likely due to a feeling that you wish to create in your life. It might be a feeling to escape pain or boredom or sadness or frustration or loneliness, for example. But the question today is, what if we stayed instead of escaped? What would we learn from doing the opposite? And I'm going to show you how the laws of our mind and the universe are showing us that we are exactly where we need to be. So this topic came up as the world began to open up and people started traveling or planning to travel again post-pandemic. And there's this feeling that I get when I travel and I think about the next adventure. And right now I am away from home, and this is why it's a very timely topic as well. It's a bit of this excitement mixed in with the sense of uncertainty. It feels like there is a sandstorm that gets kicked up and it's clouding my vision for a moment. And I start to ask myself, well, where am I going? And more importantly, why am I going there? And I often ask myself this question of what my intention is behind anything that I do. And we think sometimes that our actions in this world may seem like they don't matter, but they do. And paradoxically, we struggle with our indecision because we feel the weight of our actions. So we feel this both of, well, it doesn't really matter. And we also feel indecisive because in reality, we actually feel like it matters. And we tell ourselves it doesn't matter. And we tell ourselves that it doesn't matter because we're scared that it won't work out the way I thought it would. And how this has to do with escape is that all of our actions in some way, shape, or form are a decision about either staying with this present moment or escaping this present moment. And what happens when we seek to escape from a feeling or an emotion or a situation is that we lose our power to the outside world. So our actions come then from a place of powerlessness. And this is a way for us to start to understand what underpins our decisions and lets us move to a place where we are more decisive because we understand where our decisions are coming from, not necessarily what is a right or wrong decision. And if you follow me here, you're going to start to understand that we begin to think that the thing we do, the escape, is the answer. The intention becomes one that reinforces this pattern of using the outside world to fix the inner world. And instead of understanding the root cause, instead of understanding why am I trying to leave this thing, this situation, this feeling that I currently have, we put another Band-Aid on our lives. And these Band-Aids can come in the form of the people that we create relationships with. It can be the work that we do in our lives. It can be our hobbies. And it can be so many other things that we do. When we are trying to stay on the path of spiritual and personal growth, this is when we start to see that the illusions of the outside world begin to fall away, and we begin to have some of these questions, such as, why am I going here? Why am I doing this thing? Because there's no longer that same structure or armor that we believed in. This perfection of the way life is supposed to be or the way it's supposed to work is no longer the way it has to be. we start to realize that all of this is just a figment of our imagination. And for those brief moments when we do escape, we're taken away from our troubling thoughts. And for those brief moments of connection with someone else, we feel good feelings in our body. Yet instead of thanking life and the universe, the divine, for giving us these moments as reminders of what our true nature is, we often cling and we worry that they actually just will never come again. So escaping feels like there's something to run from. Staying feels like you're always at home. And when we escape, we give away our power. When we stay, we reinforce our power. I've been talking a lot about the mind-body connection, and there is a huge body of work around it. And this is just the tip of the iceberg here. And what we're talking about is that it's all about staying connected to one's self, to understand that there is no need to escape your life because your power was never yours to give away. Your power is just part of you. It's part of life energy that's constantly flowing and moving along as long as you're alive. And what makes us uncomfortable is what we charge this energy with and how we use that energy. What I mean by this is that your intention, your thoughts, your beliefs behind an action or a decision is what we charge our energy with. It's how we influence that energy. It's how we color that energy. And it's what gives that energy a different sense of power, whether it is a diminishing power and one that feels painful, or one that feels empowering, one that feels life-giving. When you find yourself looking for something to escape to, you're likely uncomfortable with the energy you're dealing with now. And that energy is likely one of suffering, and that energy is likely one of pain. And the thing is, no person or thing is going to fix your situation except for you. And I'm not saying this sense of, let me add more work to my load and therefore I feel completely overwhelmed. In fact, it's even easier than that. What I'm asking you is to just not do the thing that you are looking to do to escape from your pain, when it is coming from a place of brief, momentary solace. Because you're not going to eat, you're not going to move, play, or work that thing away. What do we do then when we feel uncomfortable? That's the question. You're going to say, May, but how am I going to actually feel better? There are these brief moments where I actually feel this good, and why don't I do this thing again and again and again if it feels good? And so what I'm saying here is not to not do those things. Not to play is a recipe for disaster. It's why we are playing, and it's why we are doing it, and with what type of energy or quality of mind and presence are we doing it with. If you start to think about your life, you most likely have parts of your life that you're not so happy about. What do we do when we don't like how our life is shaping up to be? What do we do when we're dissatisfied with our health, with our wealth, with our level of enjoyment? And again, I'm not telling you to not say yes to new opportunities or to travel the world or to healing modalities that you think will help. It's not about the thing you're doing, it's about the reason why you're doing the thing. If we don't like our life, we can actually change it. We can change it by first noticing what's happening. What are the patterns that we keep creating in our lives? And we can make a decision that seems like the most natural decision of all, to let what's bothering us go. For example, boredom was not meant to do anything but have you notice what's happening around you to actually appreciate. Stress was not meant to keep you feeling alive when there's no real danger. It was to show you what you're still resisting. Pain in your body is not pain that's meant to be there forever. It's a pain that's showing you what's constantly changing and moving and letting go. And these are all things that we can handle. And when you stay with an uncomfortable feeling, instead of escaping it through some kind of numbing or distracting activity, we begin that work of managing our addictions, managing our habits that don't serve us. And we can start to see ourselves through an entire cycle of feeling without numbing ourselves from the feeling. And we can see that we can handle it. There will be moments in your life where you think you cannot possibly handle it. This is where you will want to use whatever coping mechanism you've become used to, whether it's shopping, eating, drinking, working, stressing, or comparing yourself to others. This is where instead you're going to sit with it. Why? Because the fruit of this tree is that you're going to grow accustomed to seeing what is happening. And the fruit of this tree is entirely worth it. The fruit looks like you're learning and you're evolving. The fruit looks like seeing that each time you feel a feeling of discomfort and you allow yourself to honor it by breathing, letting it pass, it grows. And you're watering this tree of self-realization. You're watering knowledge, you're watering joy, you're letting an event pass through without creating imprints on you. In fact, you're allowing yourself to move energy through you uninhibited, unrestricted by all of these blockages, of all of these imprints, of all of these things that we think about doing constantly to stop allowing ourselves to feel. And escaping means that you're erecting this structure inside of yourself where the energy can't pass through. Staying means that you're removing the need for a structure and you become one with the energy of you. You become one with the energy of the world and one with the energy of yourself. And this is big stuff. This is not a small feat. And I honor wherever you're at and that you might be on this progress spiral where sometimes you feel that you can do this and sometimes you feel that you can't, and that sometimes you need to talk to someone, and that's all okay too. But just notice that there is this need that you feel that arises that has to do with the pain, has to do with escaping, and very likely there is no amount of escaping that will actually allow you to remove this thing completely from your life, this feeling of boredom, sadness, pain, frustration, loneliness, low self-worth. And no amount of stuff is ever really going to solve it. And so imagine what it would be like to move through that world, in this world, with not only a sense of wonder, but of appreciation, of joy, and that even when hard things happen, which they will, you'll be able to stay with it. You'll know that you can move through life without letting them stay with you. So this is what happens when you stay. Life moves around you and you become the immovable force. Staying can look like many things. It can be relaxing. It can be breathing through a difficult moment. Staying can be studying the event with curiosity, with self-awareness. It can be even meditating ahead of time so that you're aware when it happens not to react. Staying can be making the decision to live an unusual life, one where you are mindful, where you are doing things out of joy, not out of desperate need. And staying can be a host of contemplative practices like yoga, mindful movement, and the simple act of breathing. So if you would like to go even further, in this month's leadership group coaching, we will be covering mind-body practices. How do we learn what our bodies are telling us? How do we connect to these external experiences from a place of internal truth? And how do we begin to live our healthiest lives even when it seems impossible? So if you enjoy these kind of topics, you can go to www.mayamson.com/contact to learn more. I love you, my friends. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.